What are two responsibilities that you will have as a British citizen or permanent resident of the UK? To look after the area in which you live and the environment, to look after yourself and your family, to stay in the UK forever, to promote work in your local community. Where is the Big Ben located? Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, Trafalgar Square, or the Houses of Parliament? When were men and women given the right to vote at the age of 21? 1918, 1903, 1928, or 1923? Where is the UK geographically located? Southwest of Europe, northeast of Europe, northwest of Europe, or southeast of Europe? Who is the patron saint of Scotland? St. David, St. Patrick, St. George, or St. Andrew? Which two houses fought in the War of the Roses? The House of Chester, the House of York, the House of Lancaster, or the House of Newcastle? The Bill of Rights in 1689 confirmed the right to vote for all adult men. True or false? What is the cenotaph? A flower, a Christian church, a war memorial, or a theatre? Who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK? Mary Stuart, Theresa May, Margaret Thatcher, or Florence Nightingale? Who chairs the debates at the House of Commons? A bishop, the Prime Minister, the Speaker, or the Archbishop of Canterbury? Who was the captain of the English football team that won the World Cup in 1966? Sir Roger Bannister, Sir Jackie Stewart, Sir Ian Botham, or Bobby Moore? When did the English defeat the Spanish Armada? 1466, 1066, 1254, or 1588? Anyone can make a complaint about the police by writing to the Chief Constable of the police force involved. True or false? What is the minimum age required to serve on a jury? 16, 18, 21, or 25? How is a jury selected? From the NHS registration system? Randomly from the electoral register, alphabetically from the telephone directory, or from a postcode selection? What is a bank holiday? A public holiday when banks are open all day, a public holiday for people working in banks, an additional day off that every worker in the UK is entitled to, or a public holiday when banks and many other businesses are closed for the day? What will you be given to vote before a general election takes place? A poll tax relief, a number to queue at the polling station, a poll card, or an specific time for you to vote? Which of the following statements is correct? Solicitors' charges are usually based on how much time they spend on a case, or solicitors' charges are usually based on the nature of a case and its importance. By law, which two types of media have to give a balanced coverage of all political parties and equal time to rival viewpoints before an election? Television, internet, newspapers, or radio? Which of the following territories is a Crown dependency but is not part of the UK? Northern Ireland, Wales, the Channel Islands, or Scotland? What did Sir Frank Whittle invent in the 1930s? Radar, hovercraft, jet engine, or ballpoint pen? Who wrote The Daffodils? William Blake, Robert Browning, Lord Byron, or William Wordsworth? Who was given the title of Lord Protector? Charles I, Charles II, Winston Churchill, or Oliver Cromwell? What are the 40 days before Easter called? Diwali, Lent, Hanukkah, or Valsaki? What is the Home Secretary responsible for? Health, defence, education, or policing? St Helena is a British overseas territory and it is part of the United Kingdom. True or false? Several Church of England bishops sit in the House of Lords. True or false? When walking your dog in a public place, you must ensure that your dog does not play with other dogs, that your dog wears a collar showing the name and address of the owner, that your dog wears a high-visibility jacket, or that your dog does not bark. Women over the age of 30 were given the right to vote as a result of their contribution towards the war effort. Which war was that? The Second World War, the Crimean War, the First World War, or the Civil War? When did Ireland become a republic? 1925, 1939, 1949, or 1927? Where did the first farmers come from? Southwest Europe, Southeast Europe, Northeast America, or Northwest Asia? The national anthem God Save the Queen can only be played in the presence of the Queen. True or false? Who became Prime Minister and was an inspirational leader to the British people during World War II? Winston Churchill, Clement Attlee, Margaret Thatcher, or Sir Robert Walpole? What is the title of the Queen's eldest son, Prince Charles? Prince of Kent, Prince of Wales, Prince of Hanover, or Prince of Brunswick? Under which king did the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England unite to defeat the Vikings? William of Orange, King Alfred the Great, Henry VIII, or Robert the Bruce? When was the Magna Carta created? 1514, 1215, 1415, or 1314? Northern Ireland has its own banknotes, which are valid everywhere in the UK. True or false? Which of the following plays was written by William Shakespeare? Pride and Prejudice, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Sense and Sensibility, or Great Expectations? How many members does a jury have in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland? 9, 12, 15, or 20? Which two of the following religious communities celebrate Diwali? Buddhists, Hindus, Jews, or Sikhs? What is Good Friday? The day when Jesus Christ rose from the dead, the day when Jesus Christ was born, the day when Jesus Christ died, or the day when Jesus Christ became 30 years old? St. Patrick's Day is a public holiday in Northern Ireland. True or false? Which was the last successful foreign invasion of England that took place in 1066? The Viking invasion, the Anglo-Saxon conquest, the Roman invasion, or the Norman conquest? Where are the crown jewels kept? At the House of Commons, at the Tower of London, at Buckingham Palace, or at Windsor Castle? Which sport can be traced back to the 15th century in Scotland? Golf, tennis, football, or rugby? Who was the first person in England to print books using a printing press? William Shakespeare, John Barbour, Geoffrey Chaucer, or William Caxton? Which court deals with minor criminal cases in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland? High Court, Justice of the Peace Court, Magistrates' Court, or Crown Court? What did the Scottish John Logie Baird develop? Television, radar, personal computer, or radio? Which of the following is a fundamental principle of British life? Communism, intolerance, individual liberty, or inequity? Wales has its own established church. True or false? What is New Year's Eve called in Scotland? Valsaki, Hanukkah, Diwali, or Hogmanay? Why did Henry VIII establish the Church of England? To celebrate his wedding with Anne of Cleves, to have control over religious people, to establish a unique religion in England, or to divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon? What is the name of the long war that English kings fought with France in the Middle Ages? The Crimean War, the First World War, the 100 Years' War, or the Boer War? Who was supported by clansmen from the Scottish Highlands and raised an army in 1745? Bonnie Prince Charlie, Robert Burns, Oliver Cromwell, or Kenneth MacAlpin? If you think someone is trying to persuade you to join an extremist or terrorist activity, who should you contact? The Home Office, your local police force, your local MP, or your family? It is compulsory for 16 and 17-year-olds to join the National Citizen Service Programme. True or false? What is the name of the tour guides that tell visitors stories about the Tower of London's history? Knights, Chartists, Suffragettes, or Beefeaters? Which two countries developed the Concorde, the world's only supersonic commercial airliner? Italy, Britain, Germany, or France? Where is Snowdonia located? Scotland, Wales, England, or Northern Ireland? Who wrote Sherlock Holmes? Evelyn Waugh, Sir Kingsley Amis, Graham Greene, or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle? Which country was invaded by Germany in 1939? Austria, Italy, Russia, or Poland? Who is the patron saint of Wales? St. David, St. George, St. Patrick, or St. Andrew? Lake District is the largest national park of England. True or false? What is the name of the area in London where famous theatres are located? Soho, Theatreland, Westminster, or Hyde Park? Which two of the following are key roles of school governors? Monitoring students' behaviour, monitoring and evaluating school performance, setting the strategic direction of the school, or giving awards to the best students of the school. What led the American colonies to want their independence from Britain? The British government wanted to control their borders, they were running out of resources, the British government wanted to tax them, or there were not enough jobs for the local people. When did the Black Death take place? The Golden Age, the Stone Age, the Middle Ages, or the Iron Age? Who was the leader of the suffragettes, the group that campaigned for women's rights to vote? Queen Victoria, Oliver Cromwell, Florence Nightingale, or Emmeline Pankhurst? Cardiff is the capital city of which country? Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland, or Wales? During the Great Depression in the 1930s, which industry was badly affected? Housing construction, shipbuilding, automobile, or aviation? Who was the first man in the world to run 1 mile in under 4 minutes? Sir Chris Hoy, Sir Roger Bannister, David Weir, or Mo Farah? Which Jubilee did Queen Elizabeth II celebrate in 2012? Golden Jubilee, Silver Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee, or Diamond Jubilee? What was the last battle between Great Britain and France? The Battle of Trafalgar, the Battle of Waterloo, the Battle of Hastings, or Battle of Agincourt? Which flower is associated with Wales? Daffodil, rose, shamrock, or thistle? During the reign of Charles II, parts of London were destroyed. What was the cause of this destruction? A war, a flood, a fire, or an earthquake? How often are general elections held in the UK? Every 3 years, every 4 years, every 5 years, or every 10 years? Scotland has its own banknotes, which are valid everywhere in the UK. True or false? What charity works to preserve important buildings, coastline and countryside in the UK? Shelter, Age UK, Crisis, or the National Trust? Great Britain refers only to England, Wales and Scotland. True or false? Who was the tribal leader who fought against the Romans? Cleopatra, Claudia, Boudicca, or St. Augustine? Who was voted the greatest Briton of all time in 2002? Isaac Newton, Winston Churchill, Alexander Fleming, or Mo Farah? Which two houses form the UK Parliament? The House of Lords, House of Members, House of Commons, or House of Fraser? When did women get the right to vote at the same age as men? 1918, 1928, 1938, or 1948? Who is the head of the Church of England? The Prime Minister, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Pope, or the Monarch? What sort of event is the Grand National? Rugby, golf, horse racing, or tennis? What type of literature are the Canterbury Tales? poems, novels, jokes, or fables. When is Christmas Day? 24th of December, 25th of December, 26th of December, or 27th of December? Who supported King Charles I during the Civil War? Roundheads, suffragettes, Quakers, or Cavaliers? What battle is commemorated in the Bayeux Tapestry? The Battle of Waterloo, the Battle of Trafalgar, the Battle of Hastings, or the Battle of Britain? Where was Anne Boleyn, the wife of Henry VIII, executed? Houses of the Parliament, Stonehenge, Tower of London, or Whitehall? Racial crime and smoking in public places are examples of civil offences or criminal offences. What type of character was played by Charlie Chaplin? A superhero, a tramp, a scientific genius, or a bandit? You have to be at least 21 years old to stand as MP. True or false? Who developed the radar? John Logie Baird, Sir Frank Whittle, Sir Christopher Cockerell, or Sir Robert Watson Watt? Where is the official home of the Prime Minister? 18 Oxford Street, Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, or 10 Downing Street? By law, which two types of media have to give a balanced coverage of all political parties and equal time to rival viewpoints before an election? Television, internet, newspapers, or radio?